Hello guys, welcome back to a new episode in your podcast Social Savvy with me, Sharifa. And today we're going to talk about the only skill that I found in every and each CV I've read in my life. Critical thinking. How would you describe critical thinking? For 1 second, let's think about it. Most people would think that it is a great skill that you can solve issues and problems and you can think out of the box. But I would call it controversial description. What is way better to be described is that how to hear yourself when everyone's yelling. Because let's be honest, word is getting faster, moving, speaking, and doesn't always reword nuance. Hot takes trend, opinion, I don't give a potato. Everyone seems sure, certain, and ready to shout their point of view because come on, they know what they are talking about. But if you do have critical thinking, you do not rush. You just try to think clearly, to make sense of things, to understand the word and yourself without getting swept into the noise. Let's not talk about how to do that first, but let's consider understanding what is critical thinking at first. Critical thinking is a skill, and it is the courage to pause before you agree, to ask what's really true in here, to look underneath the surface of a headline, a post, a pressure, a belief. It's not about thinking of yourself, but not repeating what you have heard, read, or been taught without thinking about it. In a world that rewards certainty, critical thinking invites reflection. It's less about being right and more, way more about being awake and aware. And why is it hard to think clearly when the word is loud, when there is noise everywhere, when there is pressure? If I'd like to name it, I'd say this culture is built for reaction, not reflection. You are always encouraged to choose a side immediately, post your opinion before you've processed it, accept quick takes as truth, trade nuance for simplicity, and assume the loudest voice is the most correct voice. But your real, wise, intuitive mind doesn't thrive in chaos. It thrives in calm, in curiosity, in complexity. And when the word gets noisy, you don't need to yell back. You don't need to be quick to answer. You just need to listen inward. So my idea, from now on, slow your scroll, slow your response. Just because something is urgent does not mean it's thoughtful. To take a pause is actually the right thing to do and ask, do I actually understand this? Where this information is coming from, what's the source? Is it a reaction or is it a reflection? When you give yourself space, it does not mean you are indecisive. It means you are sure about a thing only when you are sure about it after deep dive in. And also, you should question yourself without attacking. Curiosity does not mean you have to be confrontational. You can ask, is that really true? Let me double check. I'm not going to attack the person. I'm just going to double check. I need to learn more if the person is talking about something and it is true, or I am seeing something and it is true, but I am not sure about it. And then I double check. I find it's true. Okay, wow, I learned something. I did not take much time because I don't trust the person in front of me as much as I do not want to have the urgency to just say anything or accept or agree to anything. One of the things I learned from critical thinking is actually that I should have hold always space for complexity because things sometimes can be true at once. 2 things can be true. 3 things can be true. There isn't a clear villain or hero. Sometimes it's okay not to have a final answer. Thinking critically means staying open, widely open, even when it would be easier to just choose a side, pick it, and then you are now believing in that thing. And also one thing can bring you to critical thinking faster is believing in your intuition. Not every voice deserves equal access to your mind. Sometimes you do have your inner compass. Choose what you feel right. Choose what gives you the doubt. When you feel the doubt, okay, let me double check. I'm choosing that. I'm not choosing to just reply because people need my reply. The louder the word gets, the more sacred your own stillness becomes. the faster people are treating their decision, you should be worried. You should be slower. You should be more relaxed and trying to always check and then take your decision and then take your side if you have to pick one. Unfortunately, nowadays, because of the social media, because of the propaganda, people are just following the crowd, thinking that if the crowd is going to right, it means I should go to the right. It means the left is a wrong choice. And it shouldn't be like that. Because you are just avoiding to question, to judge. You are just avoiding to have an opinion based on proofs and sources you actually did not misunderstood, right? But the truth, the really, really quiet truth is that if you don't think for yourself, someone else will. And not everyone has your integrity and the best interest in heart. Critical thinking protects you from these agencies. It protects you and your integrity. It lets you engage with the world without losing yourself in it. And one thing to take with you, you don't have to be the loudest to be wiser. You don't have to shout. You don't have to yell to be sure of what you're believing. You don't have to debate everyone and try to convince everyone of your point of view. Critical thinking is not about being superior. It's about being intentional, choosing to respond instead of react, choosing to learn instead of assume or following, choosing to stay rooted. So take your time, think deeply, ask brave questions, be the quiet one in the room who's actually listening. Without judgment, but listening carefully. Because in a loud word, your calm is powerful. Your clarity is rare. Hopefully, you will take that into consideration whenever you are in a room full of opinions. Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.